Welcome to the Green Portal, a forum for issues related to people, politics, and economy as it affects our planet. Beyond politics, we live within a world economy that is increasingly affected by the reality of climate change. And what a world it is, a paradise. But what are we doing to it? Sprawling urban landscapes, tightly packed roadways, becoming a commuter's nightmare, overcrowded cities built on increasing consumption of energy and matter, all the while increasing pollution and waste. What is the future we are creating for our children and grandchildren? Will it be Utopia or Oblivion? It is up to us. There is no question. Our fossil fuel-driven economy is causing real problems. Fossil fuels and natural resources are becoming more scarce and more expensive to obtain. At the same time, our population is increasing. There will be over 8 billion people on this planet by 2030. All the while, global temperatures are rising. Glaciers are melting. And the Arctic is increasingly warming, fresh water becoming more and more scarce, and CO2 emissions accelerating to alarming levels. We are seeing sea levels rising, threatening coastal areas. Food crops are failing, causing disruptive migrations. And in a world of plenty, people are still starving in our lifetime. Though it is weather, storms, floods, and drought are intensifying, causing disruption and wreaking havoc around the world. The result is animal and plant extinction is 1,000 times the natural rate. We are over-harvesting our forest, and what we don't burn, wildfires do, adding even more greenhouse gas emissions to the atmosphere. Beyond politics, there is no denying the Earth is undergoing rapid climate change. The last time the Earth was this warm, around 125,000 years ago, sea levels were a whole lot higher, around 20 to 30 feet higher. Our climate is changing, and we will have to adapt. The question is, how do we adapt without destroying our economy? An economy is more than just the production and consumption of goods and services. It has to support life. There is no economy without factoring in the Earth's biosphere. It's where matter and energy of production comes from. The waste from production and consumption must also be factored in. It is that waste that now disrupts the biosphere. So the challenge of our age is how to transform that waste into factors of production. And where better to start than where we live and work? There are thousands of cities on our planet, each with tens of thousands of buildings, all using energy. How much of that energy is wasted? What is the cost in both money and greenhouse gas emissions? In studies by the Department of Energy and others, more than 39% of the energy used for heating and cooling our homes, schools, and commercial buildings is wasted due to poor energy management and inadequate insulation. 39% wasted. That's a really big number. 15 quadrillion BTUs. At 12 cents per kilowatt hour, that is almost $600 billion and 24 billion pounds of CO2 wasted each year. How can we transform that waste into opportunity? By putting a price on carbon. Beyond politics, carbon pricing is essential to transform the waste of our economy into factors of production. Intelligent corporate leaders understand this and are putting into place models for transformation. For example, this publication from KPMG and leading global NGOs outlines how responsible CEOs, CFOs, and corporate directors around the world are responding to the realities of sustainable economics. In cooperation with United Nations leadership and a majority of participating countries, sustainability accounting standards and compliance process models are becoming essential to progressive corporate governance. It just makes good business sense. Carbon pricing costs of emission-intensive fuels and goods will rise, but the revenue will support the general welfare of people and our environment. At the same time, pricing carbon will encourage efficiency and innovation. This publication from the World Resource Institute, in coordination with the United Nations Council for Sustainability, outlines a process to manage the implementation, tracking, reporting, and accounting for the transformation of corporations to value their sustainable assets and meet the inevitable standards of global carbon pricing. Global models for transparent public reporting of greenhouse gas emissions are necessary to reduce disruption and assure compliance. The models being considered are the result of decades of effort from responsible corporate leaders, government negotiators, and the NGOs engaged to meet the challenges of our age. The first stage, called Scope 1, is for businesses to reduce energy waste from buildings and vehicles. This is where advancing technology, the Internet of Things, kicks in. For example, imagine peel and stick sensors about the size of a cracker that can report in real time the energy loss and greenhouse gas emissions from a building's walls and windows. These sensors can spot degradation of insulation inside walls and alert facility managers and others in real time when problems occur that need attention. Such a system put into place in buildings and campus of buildings would provide decision makers with cost justification for making energy-saving improvements. Real-time data and the decision support logic can be shared with CFOs, CEOs, and their boards to encourage transformational investments that create jobs and support innovation. This is not dreaming for the future. All of the technology is now in place, but it needs to be widely adopted if we are to realize the potential for innovative energy management to transform our economy. So instead of looking at the problem as cost, let's look at the economic potential $600 billion a year can provide. Not only will we create jobs, we will create a sustainable economy while reducing the pollution and degradation of our planet. This is the purpose of my being. For my children and grandchildren, I choose Utopia, and I seek to work with others who feel the same.